Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy back at it again. Welcome to another edition of the Rico Report, brought to you by the Buffalo Fanatics, the number one podcast, Bills podcast for fan-sided. Let's go, folks. We got a good one today, man. Sometimes I ask myself, what the hell am I going to talk about today? And honestly, I sit there and just kind of like go in my room, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, hey, what's going on? We can sit here and talk about the Bills and the Bills and the Bills all day, fam. It gets kind of like, you know what I mean? We're regurgitating stuff. But we're going to change things up a little bit. But I'm joined by a special guest. I'm not just going to do this by myself today. So I'm joined by a special guest. This is one of our dear writers. You know what I'm saying? From the writing squad, right? The BF. I mean, we're in all avenues, man. We got a fantastic writing team. And without further ado, let me bring my man, Khari. My man, Khari, welcome to the Rico Report, my man. What's good, baby?
Blessings. Rico, what's happening? How we doing tonight?
I'm doing well, baby. Let's go, man. Listen, I'm excited to have you on because we have such a diverse writing squad, right? We have comedic pieces, we have historians, and everything in between. And my man Khari doesn't just come from a background of just writing, right? He used to play ball back in the day. So I'm gonna let you. I don't want to say gloat, but I'm gonna let you gloat a little bit. Where did you play ball, and where'd you grow up? What's going on, man? Let people know about you, man.
No doubt. So first of all, I appreciate you bringing me on, Rico. It's been this has been for y'all out there. This has been in the making for some time. So it's fine. It's great to finally be on. But a little bit about myself. Born and raised, 45 minutes outside of Orchard Park in Lockport, New York. Was a football player from the time I was in 7th grade until my senior year of college. So I started out. I played at Lockport High School, and it was fun, man. We had a great time there. My senior year, we won a division title, and then got to parlay that into playing Division I for a year. I was able to walk on the University of Buffalo's football team.
Walk on.
But the craziest thing about that's why I respect walk-ons. Obviously Baker Mayfield gets a lot of hate, but I love the guy just because he was a walk-on and really became the number one pick in the draft. So to really see that go up is unbelievable. And
no doubt,
I'm rooting for all the walk-ons out there, man. But for me, so I got to go to UB and play there for a year, and I was an offensive tackle. And that probably was the worst possible year to be an offensive tackle at the University of Buffalo because there was a guy by the name of Khalil Mack on the other side of the ball that I had to block every day, or attempt to block every day, I'll say. But I learned a lot from him, and it was a fun team to be around because we got to go to the Idaho Potato Bowl. You guys see the flag behind me here. Got to rep the Bulls as always. And I appreciate that for real, man. From there went to St. John Fisher, home of the Bills training camp. Got to play there for 4 years. A lot of success there as well. So I'm just thankful to be around the game as much as I am now. I'm not beating my body up though, so that's the cool thing about it.
I like it. Well, listen. First of all, you kept that little nugget. I bet. By the way, a shout out to my man, the ref, hopping on. Salute to you. Salute to everybody tuned in. By the way, salute to the Bing Squad. You guys know who you are, man. So appreciate you, ref. My man, the ref, comes in with another super chat. Says, "Yo, did you see Shannon and Skip saying they wouldn't take the Bills to win it all this year 10 out of 10 times?" Man, Skip, I like Skip. I'm a fan of Skip, but Skip says a lot of bullshit. I'll tell you right now, man. Are you a fan of Skip Bayless?
I'm conflicted because I get it. He's entertaining. But
it's my turn. Oh God,
my turn. Oh my gosh. And it's funny to me too because like I was a fan of First Take when him and Stephen A were together. So I've seen Skip since I was a kid, man, and
for sure.
I just think, we talked a little bit about clickbait off the air. He's clickbait in a viral or not a viral in a visual, word of mouth sense.
For sure.
So that's my only thing. I get it. I respect his grind, respect his hustle. But
no doubt about it, man. Listen, in this day and age, man, it's about attracting, trying to get someone to listen to what you got to say. But when you have their ears, you better say some shit that that's lasting. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stays with them. So it is what it is. So we got a fun show for you today, man. We guys are a fun show for you guys. We're going to talk about the state of the AFC East, how the 3 teams in the AFC East stack up to the Bills, and once you start really breaking these teams down, I wouldn't say breaking them down per se, but once you really start looking at the roster and looking at the makeup of these teams, they've done some really good things this year. And I can't even front. We'll get into all of that. But the one thing that I do want to touch on right before we start, I was listening to the Rich Eisen show, and Rich Eisen is excellent. I'm a big fan of Rich Eisen.
Me too.
And Khari, you don't know that I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. But they were talking about all 32 franchises, and when you think of that franchise, who is the player that stands out to you the most as the GOAT of that team? No matter who, no matter what, who is the GOAT of that team? And the Bills came up, and it was interesting because I was thinking to myself, there are some really good players, elite players on this Bills team. I'm talking about like overall. You can go back all the way to O.J. Simpson. Forget about the off-field stuff. We're talking about on the field. O.J. Simpson could be the greatest Bill of all time. So if I were to put you on the spot, who is the greatest Bill of all time?
I'm so glad you brought this up too, because shout out to the guys over at Fanbase Sports as well. We had a a list like the top 100 Bills of all time.
Okay.
And it was interesting to see how the list panned out. There's a lot of different ways you could go with this. A lot. In terms of like most talented Bill of all time, in terms of like what his career was and what he meant to the team, I truly do believe O.J. Simpson is the most, talented Bills player. The rush for 2,000 yards in 14 games when they knew, they were putting. They couldn't put 12 in the box, but they were damn near putting 12 in the box.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So that was and OJ really brought a national appeal to the Bills that we hadn't seen it, or that hadn't been seen at that point. So I do truly believe that. Obviously, the way his life is carried on after, people
tarnishes it a little bit.
100%. But I think it really comes down to 2 guys from there. Obviously Bruce and Jim. I think personally though, I gotta go Bruce. 200 sacks, that's unbelievable. Number 1 overall pick. It's like a LeBron effect. Obviously, we're not saying Bruce had the national fanfare that LeBron James did, when he was at St. Vincent St. Mary, but the fact that he, was the number 1 pick, had some ups and downs early, but really lived up to his potential. 20-year career. The face of the franchise, arguably the best defensive player in the 90s. The thing that held me back with Jim is obviously he's a quarterback. I get it. We always want to heap the praise on the QBs.
Yep.
But, I personally think a lot of those, 90s Bills teams were really, those offenses at least, were really led by Thurman. Thurman Thomas was really just
There's just so many good pieces on that team. Like you just named OJ, Bruce, Jim. You went to Thurman. Didn't even say Andre. Right. Cornelius Bennett. I'm not saying that he is. He was a big piece. Like a lot of good guys on that squad. Aaron Schobel. We've had some really good pieces. Now, when we talk about the Bill of all time, I'm gonna agree with you. It is Bruce Smith. It is definitely Bruce Smith. Dude, when you look at the game, 279 games this man has played, 200 sacks, 200. When you can go Halloween and put a whole bunch of tombstones on your front lawn and it's filled with all the QBs that you sacked. My goodness, you got to give it up. You got to give it up to the Bruce Smith, man. Like, dude, you 20. Like, listen, man, that's incredible. So, and I'm looking at his stats, right? And like, I'm looking. 15 sacks, 12 sacks, 11 sacks. The double-digit sacks this man's had 13, 19 sacks in 1990, right? Dude, excuse me. Yeah, in 1990, he had 19 sacks. Then he follows it up a couple years after that with 14 sacks. 2 years in a row with 14 sacks. Dude is nasty. So he is the ultimate Bill of all time. However, I'm going to play this clip here. And then we go, because there was something that was said after that we're going to talk about. So let me try to play this clip a little bit, and then we'll see if it's just an audio, guys. So hold that thought here. Let me just try to get this volume up. All right, here we go.
Got it.
So check this out. We're talking about Bills here.
About that. Now we're going to go to the Buffalo Bills. This one got to be a little bit tough, and I know Bills Mafia is watching, so I want to make sure I get this right.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
Like I said, if you were going to compile a Mount Rushmore list of Bills, you have a large group of great players,
yes, including
O.J. Simpson and Thurman Thomas, Cornelius Bennett. But I think this came down to two players to get this title, and I just broke it down like this, Rich and Chris and Jason. One of the players you could look at and say this guy, without question, is one of the greatest at his position.
Yes.
The other one, very good, but probably not listed in the top 10.
You're going in the direction that I'm talking about.
So, with all,
it's like you listen to the episode, because that's exactly what they're saying right now, Khari. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna keep it playing right here.
All due respect to the great Jim Kelly, you got to say the greatest Buffalo Bill of all time is Bruce Smith.
Bingo.
I mean, one of the most dominant players in the history of football.
He stuck the landing.
Stuck the landing there, I think. Bruce dominant. And, when people say Aaron Donald is on pace to become the greatest defensive player of all time, I kind of sit and go in there. I did see Bruce Smith play football.
Yep.
He was really excellent.
Yep.
All right, now we're going to come.
So I found that extremely interesting that they were talking about the franchises and who stands out, and they were talking about the AFC East. I didn't really care who the hell they were talking about. But what was interesting is most times you're going to think about a quarterback. You think about the Jets, you think about a quarterback. You think about Tom Brady with the Patriots. You think about the Miami Dolphins. You think about Dan Marino. Quarterbacks. And the fact that Bruce Smith stands out with a Hall of Fame quarterback in himself and Jim Kelly is absolutely amazing. So I have a question for you afterwards, which is going to be very interesting. So my man D. Raleigh says, hey, Rico, Khari, talking about old 90s Bills now that NFL teams can wear different color helmets this coming season, you think we will be seeing the 90s red helmets? I think that's what he's going to say, the 90s unis and the red helmets. The Bills are stubborn, man. I don't know if they're going to want to do it. They're going to just want to just chill. But, I mean, if the fans are asking for it, I would love to see Josh Allen and the whole crew, Steph Diggs, in some 90s uniforms, man. Kind of nostalgic a little bit, but I also don't want that 90s vibe rubbing off too much on this new era Bills. You feel me? I'm just keeping it a buck right now. But it would be really cool to see the Bills in the old unis. That'd be dope. So my man Khari, let me ask you this, man. So we agree that Bruce Smith is the GOAT. He is the Buffalo Bill of all time.
No question.
Is there a chance for Josh Allen?
I knew it.
To supplant, to take on the role of GOAT of all time, and what would he have to do? What would he have to accomplish for him to be able to even be in that position?
Man, so many thoughts in mind right now. I'm gonna go back to one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite franchises. I'll say one of my favorite sports franchises of all time too, in terms of movies. Rocky, with with Adrian. What did he say to Rock before that big fight against Apollo? Win. That's all he is. If Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl, I mean, it's going to be hard for anybody to deny him as, the greatest Bill of all time. Obviously, longevity, numbers.
That plays a big part. Huge
factor in everything. Bruce was in this, was in Orchard Park for, I believe it was 15 years. I know he, made a few moves towards the end. Played in Washington and everything like that. So his last 4 years were in Washington. Yeah, his first 15 were here in Buffalo. But I would say Josh would have to win. That's the biggest thing, because I think he's already on a trajectory that has pushed him well above certain, Bills of the past. You got to think of it like this. No, he didn't end the drought, but he was the first Bills quarterback to win a playoff game, since Jim Kelly. He was, able to have a, MVP runner-up season. He got the Bills to the AFC title game, back-to-back division titles. Yep. All these things are just stacking up, adding up, especially post-drought. You got to also factor that in. I think because I tell people this all the time. I remember, I was a huge, even when he was in Philly, I was a huge LaShawn McCoy fan. Huge. The impact that he had in Buffalo in his, 4 years, I truly believe he's a Wall of Famer because, he came here, helped change the culture, all these rushing yards, doing the hey, you know what I mean, all that. But yeah, you already know.
I get it.
You already know. So yes, sir. So doing all that, but also factoring in too, he helped end the drought. He was a focal point in that. I think that alone, on top of the production, on top of
all the respect on Tyrod's name. Don't you say end the drought? Tyrod was the dude to end the drought.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Tyrod walked so Josh Allen could sprint, man.
Hey, I like that. I like that a lot. So to me, I need to. My man Cave says, "Yo, who's the new cat? The new cat is my man Khari. You better put some respect on his name, my man." So Khari, you're gonna have to turn that fan down just a tiny bit.
Got you. I got you.
Bit. So as you do that, I'm gonna just jump into more specifics, right? For me, it comes down to if Josh Allen is ever to become GOAT, to be able to take over Bruce Smith, and that's a tall task in itself. Mm-hmm. He not only has to win one Super Bowl. I'm sorry, it's got to be two. He's gonna have to win 2 Super Bowls for me, right? In order for him to be that guy, because 200 sacks, is disgusting. 20 years of football is nasty. So 2 Super Bowls, you gotta at least have 1 MVP under your belt. If you have 2, great, and you gotta at least play 13 or more years, right? And the way these things are coming along right now, these players are like, look at Aaron Rodgers right now, look at Tom Brady right now. I mean, Wilson's looking to playing at least another 5 to 7, right? He wants to play into his 40s. So right now, I mean, it seems to be that's the norm, the way the rules are coming along, protecting the quarterbacks. Maybe we might have Josh for 15 to 20. You just never know these days, right? So if he can do those things, he might be able to supplant and be Buffalo Bill of all time. But that's a tall task because Bruce Smith is enshrined up there, man. But I figured I'd ask that question. I thought that was super interesting. So what do you guys think? In the chat, as you guys are watching this, who is the Buffalo Bills GOAT of all time? The Buffalo Bill, the one person you think of when you look at this team. And is Josh Allen on the up, right? Is he ascending to be able to put his name at least in the category, if not take over? I'm very interested in what you guys think. He's definitely got the star power. He's definitely got the love from the league and everybody else, and everybody loves this man, and he embraces Buffalo. So I'm looking forward to that, to see, you know what I'm saying, what plans out for us. And if we can win 2 Super Bowls out of this, man, dude, I'm telling you, it'd be nasty. It'd be nasty for sure.
This is my only thing, Rico. Yeah. My only thing. And first of all, your point about Bruce Smith is tremendous, because I tell people this all the time, like, oh man, like people celebrate, oh man, so-and-so got to 100 sacks. Like, that's amazing. You still 100 off from Bruce. Like, that's unbelievable even like to think about. But even more than that, what he represented for the community, what he represented for this franchise, for 4 Super Bowl appearances in a row. Like, obviously there was a lot of talent on those teams, but that he was the cream of that crop. Cream of that crop.
He is to defensive lines what Jerry Rice is to receivers. The amount of records that man has that just feel untouchable.
Yes,
that's Bruce Smith.
100%.
So it's really dope to have that and see that come through. We're gonna go off script. We're gonna go off script a little bit, and we're looking at and I want your thoughts on this because you brought this name up earlier today because you have the utmost respect for this player. Number 1 draft pick, walk on, Baker Mayfield. The utter disrespect that Baker Mayfield continues to get. Now he's getting a little more love, right? Before it was, oh, what team is he going to play on? He's going to have to. Now it's like, okay, the Panthers are in potentially, and so are the Seahawks. Well, forget about that at this point. Deshaun Watson, he's probably going to get a year. I mean, it makes sense. If he gets a year, I think he's expecting it. If he doesn't, I know he's in the midst of negotiating, you know what I'm saying, a punishment that is, I never heard of that you can negotiate your punishment. But I guess maybe, appeal process. I don't know how that works exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe he gets a year. Let's just say he gets a year. Are you able to play for the Browns if you're Baker Mayfield? Are you like, yo, kick rocks, I'm waiting for you guys to trade me, just cut bait, and let's just keep going?
Yeah, man. It's like, it's, those scenes in movies where, it's this build up. The main character, they've been working alongside the supporting actor, right, and the supporting actor lets them down. And then they have to go on their own little struggle, figure out, okay, maybe I really do need the main character. They come back crawling to the main character, and the main character's like, come on.
Sorry, fam.
And they're like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done this to you. And, can we get this thing rolling again? So I don't know. I personally just think, knowing Baker Mayfield's mentality, his persona, his attitude, his edge, the chip he has on his shoulder, he got to this point because of that. But I'll say his pettiness even. I don't know if it'll allow him to, really, come back around, come back into the fold. I think both sides have moved on. It really seems that way. For Baker's perspective, I totally get it. The interesting thing to me, I saw somebody tweet this.
Go ahead. There's some interesting tweets out there, I'll tell you.
To say the least. And shout out to Q, talking about Baker. I understand, Baker's not the most popular guy in the league. I totally 100% get it. I understand. He's had ups, he's had downs, to say the least, too. What I will say, though, is this about Baker. Like, the simple fact that the Browns came out and said, oh, we want an adult in the quarterback room, trying to downplay Baker's maturity and everything like that. You say that all to flip, not even necessarily flip him yet, but to, replace him with a guy who's got 24, 25, 26 cases now impending. He did settle some of them, but all these cases that he's got against him, and you want to talk about having an adult in your quarterback room, man, the Browns are gonna brown,
The Browns are gonna brown. I will say this though, my man Raleigh says, yo, listen, even if Watson gets to play this season, it's proof that the Browns are just cursed. They just can't have a franchise quarterback. Well, they have one. I thought they had one in Baker Mayfield. I thought they liked Baker Mayfield. He's made them relevant again.
Right.
And they discarded him like he ain't shit. So here comes Watson. Watson, I think he's an elite quarterback. Once the dust settles and he can go back to just focusing on football, I think the Browns are going to be a very dangerous team. But until then, the Browns are with Jacoby Brissett, and I like Jacoby. Jacoby's
solid
quarterback. Solid. I like that. Solid quarterback. But like, man, it's a mess. It's a mess out there, man. And that's on management. That's strictly on management. So, I feel for Baker Mayfield, man. You put your blood, sweat, and tears to this team. You forego your health. Your health and safety, and you put your body on the line, and then they just do you dirty like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yo, trade me. Do what you got to do. Send me where I got to. I know I trust my abilities. So where you want to send me to the Panthers, I'll beat out Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? Right. My running mate. You know what I'm saying? Back in 2018. Right? You want to send me to Seattle? All right. Me and my man. I keep forgetting his name every time I freaking say it. Yeah, Drew Lock. Me and my man Drew Lock. We're gonna do it.
Buzz Lightyear.
And don't forget, they got that third rounder out of Liberty. The quarterback out of Liberty, that's there just chilling. They got him in the 3rd round, so he's just chilling. So if I'm Baker, just send me to the Panthers, man. Send me to the Panthers, and we'll see how that plays out. But I digress. We'll see how that plays out, man. So before we get into the main topic, I want to jump into your topic. You wanted to bring something up, and I'm gonna give you the floor, and we're gonna discuss it, and we're gonna chop into it. So, floor is yours, my guy.
For sure, and we talked a little bit about this before. I was able to. For me, it's cool because I got to see this a little bit last season. For full disclosure, I worked with the team last year, so to see the team from a up close and personal perspective.
Hold on, repeat that for me. What did you do?
Last season, I was working with the team, so to be able to.
I gotta give you love, man. I gotta give you love. If you working with the squad, man, I gotta give you love, man. So speak on it. Let the people know what's good, man.
For sure. So it was a great experience. Being able to being at all the home games, being on the field. But that was one of the things for me. I've got such a reporter's mind, man. I've got such a journalist mind. So to just see these guys out there on the field and just seeing them work, it was great, especially to see the progression. It was a long season, man. 18-week regular season. 2 playoff games as well. So it was a long, long season. But, one question I wanted to pose is, if there is a guy, could you name a guy on either side of the ball that if they were to break out this year, it could really put the Bills over the top? So I've got 2 guys that I really believe, are those guys, and really are those the guys that if they step up, tremendous things can happen. So I'm gonna leave it to you first, Rico. I'll let you answer first, and then I'll give you my responses.
So we'll go tit for tat.
No doubt.
So where should I start? Offense or defense?
It's on you. What you think?
All right. So let's go to the offensive side of the ball.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go with the obvious, right?
I know you're thinking. I know you're thinking. Obvious. It is.
Josh Allen. If Josh Allen doesn't, we know that.
Right.
If Josh Allen has a poo-poo year, we go nowhere.
Right.
All right.
Literally.
Josh Allen has a fantastic year. We're right on par to where we need, but he needs a supporting cast. Who on this offense is going to get us over the hump? So for me, I'm sitting there looking at this roster, right? Let me scroll in on myself. I'm looking at this roster, and I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I can easily say Stephon Diggs because he is one guy that's gonna help us get over the edge. I could easily say, you know what, we just brought in a slot receiver, Jamison Crowder. That'll be an interesting one because he brings a different dynamic than what Cole Beasley did. I can go, listen, man, we got a 3-headed monster, and we got James Cook. That's going to create such huge problems for the defense, mismatches. So where is it that I stand? Where can I go? Well, let me go with Gabe Davis. All right? I'm going to go with Gabriel Davis. I'll tell you why I'm going with Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis, a lot of people want to say, well, it was just one game. Sometimes it does take that one game, right? 4 touchdowns. My confidence is at an all-time high. And guess what? I'm bringing that confidence into the offseason. I'm bringing it into minicamp. I'm bringing it into training camp. And I'm bringing it into week 1. So I know Stephon Diggs is going to gain and garner a lot of attention. Nobody's really paying attention to me right now. I have underrated speed. I have great catch radius. I can catch balls contested. I will be that second receiver that gets us over that hump. That now I'm gonna open things up for everybody else. You're gonna have to go and pay attention to Jamison Crowder. You're gonna have to pay attention to James Cook, right? OJ Howard. So to me, and Dawson Knox, to me, is Gabriel Davis is gonna be that person that gets us over the edge. We just haven't had that number 2, a number 2 complementary receiver next to a number 1. We officially have a number 1. Now we have a great number 2, and we're only ascending, and he's only getting more confident, and he's going into his 3rd year. And we all know what happens in 3rd year, man. They skyrocket. They boom. So give me Gabriel Davis to take us over the edge on the offensive side of the ball. What say you, sir?
I thought that was the name you were going to say, and I'm really glad that you said him because the sky's the limit for this man.
It is.
Talking about my time last season, us staff members, that weren't necessarily on the football side, all of us all season pounding the table. We love Emmanuel Sanders. We loved Cole Beasley for what he brought. Thank you, good sirs, both of you. But Gabe Davis, as the old saying goes, he's got that dog in him, man. He's got that dog, and he's a mismatch nightmare. As a number 2 receiver, you got to think about that. You know, he's not getting double coverage. He's drawing attention away from Diggs. He makes things easier for him and for Knox and all the guys. So sky's the limit for him. If he balls out this year, you know, the Bills really could reach the potential that everybody sees in them.
But you don't agree. You have somebody else on your mind.
There's another name I had in mind.
Talk about it.
I'm gonna speak on it a little bit. You know, a little bit about my football career and you know, position I played. You know, I was an offensive tackle, and I will always vouch for the guys, the big uglies in the trenches. Always. There was a young man who came into the Bills organization last year who had all these physical traits. You know, 6'8", I mean, but extremely athletic for his size. But the one thing I always say this about offensive lines, you know, you got to have your smart guy. You know, normally that's your center. You know, normally your center is your guy who holds it down, quarterback of the line, whatever. Left tackle generally is your leader. You know, and that's what Deion's become. He's had a presence ever since he got to the Bills. You know, we already know what he's about to do. We already know that.
Yes, sir.
But that right tackle, Spencer Brown, he's the one thing I think every offensive line needs. Again, we talk about having dogs. He is truly a dog on the offensive line. I think the mentality, the physicality, after the whistle stuff, all of that. Like, I truly believe if he reaches the level that he can, especially in year 2, because he had some ups, he had some downs. You know, he had a really, really good season in terms of run blocking. You know, he left some things to be desired in the pass blocking game. But as he grew, as the season went along, he progressed. And that's the thing. You know, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And I think he's a guy that, again, we talk about guys on the ascent. You know, he's truly on the ascent. And if he can become one of the best right tackles in football, which I think he can, man.
Okay. I'm on board with that. I like where you come, because it gives a tenacity, a nastiness in the run, and it gives you second-year player next to a veteran player in Saffold, because I talked about this last week, so I'm glad you brought him up. I talked about last week, making and breaking, and I talked more about Roger Saffold. If he's the Pro Bowler, motivated Roger Saffold, we're in good company. If he's the often injured, older 34-year-old, but you know, even playing like a 37, 38-year-old, we might be in trouble because it may hinder the likes of Spencer Brown. So, but I do love the fact that you brought up Spencer Brown. So you went off the cuff. You gave love to your Hoggies. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Who was your runner-up?
On offensive side of the ball, it definitely was Gabe. Because I think Gabe, you know, just because naturally the progression, you know, we see him go from he was essentially the 4th receiver his rookie year, and then last year, quasi 3. But we were, again, pounding the table for him to be the 2. But I think also another guy that really was in the running for me was Dawson Knox, because we've seen it. The progression has just been endless. I mean, I'm glad you asked me this, because I wanted to add about Dawson specifically, man.
Okay.
People, I love, you know, how critical some people get. Oh man, why are we drafting this guy? He had 15 catches in college. He didn't have a touchdown. Right. Do you guys know where Dawson Knox played college at?
Ole Miss.
I know you know, Rico.
All right. Yeah.
Ole Miss.
Uh-huh.
Do we know what receivers he was happened to be playing with?
He had some dogs out there. 3 receivers. People want to just talk about the 2.
Right.
I can't remember the third guy, but I mean, I don't think he's in the league right now, or he got undrafted or whatever the case is. But AJ Brown and DK Metcalf.
Exactly.
I know.
DeMarcus Lodge was the third guy.
DeMarcus Lodge was the third. Thank you very much.
He was tough. He was tough.
Absolutely.
Mind you, Dawson Knox, high school quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to transition. He's grown. He's progressed. So to think that man is at the level he's at today, think about where he's going to be at next year, and the year after, and the year after that. he's going to just keep climbing. So he's another one. But we've seen him ascend to a level already. He could just hit the next peak. But that's why I wanted to go with Spencer Brown.
I like that. No, listen, great job. So we're gonna go flip it to the defense side of the ball. Okay. I'm gonna let you begin. So the mic is on you. So your defensive player that you feel that's what's gonna take us over the edge. It's gonna give us that edge. Who is that? Who do you got?
No doubt. So now this one, I've waffled on this one a little bit. Because I feel like the Bills defense, obviously the last handful of years, ever since Coach McDermott got to Buffalo, the emphasis has been, okay, the Bills are going to have a stout defense. They've got talent all the way around. But the one unit that struggled has been the defensive line. Obviously, the addition of Von Miller has been, something that everybody's looking forward to.
Of course.
Daquan Jones coming in.
Yep.
Jordan Phillips coming back. Shaq Lawson coming back. The depth is real, to say the least. Now, we could very easily, go Greg Rousseau on this. And I honestly came in thinking I was going to go Greg Rousseau.
Okay.
But I truly think Boogie Basham is probably the guy, because as much as Greg Rousseau, if he hits that next level, man, the Bills defense could really take flight. But I think just knowing that, hey, Boogie Basham, he had first-round talent. He fell to the second round. Why was that? There were some habit things that, people questioned. And that was a part of why he wasn't in the rotation as much last year. And that was, stuff that's gone on record and things of that nature. I do believe that Rousseau, he's a talented enough player today, and a refined enough player today, that even if he doesn't progress from where he did last season, his floor is high enough where he's going to have an impact. But if Boogie Basham is able to get to that next level, if he's able to, even just, because I've heard reports of, he's looking slimmer, looking cut, lost some weight, he's focused in, he's locked in.
Yeah.
Hey, when there's less seats in the room, and there's guys being added at your position, that makes you notice. It really makes you take notice. And I think the thing with Boogie too is, I love Rousseau. He's great talent. I think Boogie is unique in the fact that he could play inside, he could play outside, head up, D tackle, nose, whatever the case is. So his versatility, if he's able to reach his peak, special things could happen.
I'm going to push back on you, sir. I'm going to push back on you, because you can't tell me that Boogie and I like the fact that you went Boogie Basham, because I would love to see more of Boogie Basham, because anytime he did get on the field last year, he was productive. So more of him on the field can only mean success, can only mean good things. However, we've loaded this defensive front. Greg Rousseau is most likely going to be, you mean the starting right? I mean the right end or left end, whatever they decide to do, opposite of Von Miller, right? I know we rotate a lot, but then how are you going to justify him he's the one that breaks us open when he's just a rotational depth piece? He's not defensive one. He's probably defensive 2, maybe 3. So answer me that, how you feel that he's going to make us jump over the edge. I'm putting pressure on your ass, so you better explain yourself.
Grease is hot right now.
The grease is hot. Let's go, man.
Love it, man. So no, the reason why I'm going with Boogie is because of that. Is because it is a deep rotation. He's going to be on the field. We can't deny that.
Right.
Now, what guy are we going to see when he gets on the field? That's the thing. Because if he's the guy that we saw last season, hey, you know what? Another rotational piece is what it is. If he's the guy that they took, in the second round, that, hey, he's got first round talent. Hey, if he had came out last year, he would have been a first round pick. All these things.
Right.
If they get the guy that, reaches the level that he's supposed to reach, they're not going to be saying, oh man, Boogie, rotational guy. They're going to be like, man, we got to find more ways to get Boogie on the field. You know what I mean? And I think you got to also factor in too, just knowing that obviously Von is going to have a tremendous role as a leader, really teaching the guys the ropes. He it's crazy to think he went from being DeMarcus Ware's mentee to now being the mentor here in Buffalo.
Right.
But you got to also think,
for sure.
What is he, 33?
Mm-hmm.
Not going to take that many. He's going to take snaps, of course. He's going to have a ton of snaps, but you want to rest those legs for the playoff run. That's most important.
Absolutely.
So when he's off the field, who's going to be on the field? Is that Epinesa? Is it Boogie? One of those guys is going to have to step up, and I could see it being Boogie, just from the way things have progressed so far. So I'm going to boomerang that one back to you, and ask you who you got for the defensive player that could.
Well, I'll tell you, man. So before I jump into that, I'm going to jump into my guy Scott Blakely coming in and saying Boogie has had limited chances, and I agree he could come on with more time. He definitely will. See, we have a team that's loaded with defensive pieces. We have a team that I feel that you look left, you look right, you look behind you, like there's someone that is that could take over a game, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm a big proponent of game changers, game changing guys, guys that can take your team to the next level. And I play a lot of fantasy football. I don't know about you, but I'm a dynasty. I'm gonna try to get into dynasty. And if you haven't gotten into dynasty, you see that segment, I just switched it up. And I'm about to show you guys. If you guys are not jumping in on fantasy and jumping in a dynasty where you become the GM, you do all the things that you need to do to win that big prize money. Jump on it. Let me show you a little something. Don't let me talk about it. Listen to this.
You've never experienced fantasy football quite like this. Unlike the other fantasy football platforms, Dynasty Owner uses real NFL salaries and salary cap, bench scoring, clutch scoring systems, and a variety of other options to make Dynasty Owner unlike any other fantasy football experience you've ever had. Do you have what it takes to be the best Dynasty Owner in the league? Download the Dynasty Owner app on the App Store or Google Play today to find out.
Just like that, we're back. I had to come in and drop that for those that are interested in Dynasty. Y'all need to jump on that Dynasty. And if you guys don't have any leagues, listen, hit me up. Hit my man Pierre up. He'll hook you guys up. He'll send you where you need to go. That's where you got to be. Now, my man Khari put me on the spot. You see how I transition there in and out? That's how you got to do sometimes, man. So my man put me on the spot. He says, what defensive piece on this squad is going to take us over the edge? To me, it's simple. There's only one name that stands out to me. Trey White. Trey White is the piece that it takes us over the edge. Yes, we were a number one defense. Yes, we had some struggles, you know what I'm saying, early on a little bit, but then we found our footing. Levi Wallace held it down. Dave Jackson held it down. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde held it down, and we remained the number one defense. But I can't help but wonder if Trey White were healthy, maybe we are the number one seed. Right. Maybe we are hosting in Buffalo. Right. So Trey White coming back is such an integral piece because not only is he's a physical player, right? He will match up with your number one receiver, but his intelligence, his intangibles is everything to me, right? You have two intelligent young men in the back in Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Imagine having, you know what I'm saying, Trey White next to them, right? So now when Trey White comes back with a rookie Kyer Elam, and Kyer Elam seems to be a student of the game, this defense is going to be fun, but to me, I feel that Trey White is what takes us over the edge defensively. Because if you can shut down one side of the field, Von Miller's talk is rushing from the opposite side. It's going to discombobulate the quarterback. He doesn't know where to go. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Now, I love the fact that you chose, you're saying Boogie Basham. I love it. I'm actually interested because AJ Epinesa was one that was like, is AJ Epinesa ever going to take that leap? I can't see it. I just can't see it. We just got too much depth. So then I'm looking at the linebacking crew. I can easily say, you know what, whoever steps up at the linebacking crew, that's what's going to make it happen. Because Tremaine Edmonds, I almost went with Tremaine Edmonds.
That's the name.
I almost went with Tremaine Edmonds because I think he needs to have a tremendous year. But with Trey White coming back, with Von Miller, manning the one side, and the additions of Tim Settle and Daquan Jones in the middle, that's going to shore up that defense. This defense is going to be freaking scary. I can understand why, the AFC East is loading up to take us down, which brings us into a perfect segue into the next topic. By the way, great topic, by the way. I love that you put us on the spot. So I'm going to recap it. My man Khari says it's going to be my man Boogie Basham on the defensive side that brings us over the edge. And on the offensive side, it's going to be Spencer Brown. He stayed in the trenches. The trenches is the theme for him. For me, I stayed on the outside. I went wide receiver Gabe Davis, and I went cornerback Tre'Davious White. I'm looking forward to it. I think both answers are excellent, and it's just a matter of time before these guys put everything together and Leslie Frazier leads these guys and gets in that damn Super Bowl, because that's what we need. That's what we need. So we're going to jump into the state of the AFCs. Are you ready, sir?
Oh,
I'm
ready to go. You ready?
I'm born ready, baby. Let's go. So we have the AFC East. If you want to win your division, you gotta prepare for your division. You got to build your team for your division in order for you to at least have the ticket punched to go to the dance. That's just the way it is. There's no ways about it. That's just what it is, right? Before I continue, by the way, do me a favor, everybody. If you guys are tuned in for the very first time and you're wondering who the heck we are, my name is Rico. My man Khari's next to me. You know what I'm saying? And representing the Buffalo Fanatics. This is the Rico Report. Smash that like. If you haven't smashed a like, do that for me. It's not going to hit you back. Smash that. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. What are you waiting for? Don't just browse and see if you can find the Rico Report, man. Hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And it sounds like this if you hit it. If you hit it, it might sound like that. I don't know what kind of stuff you got there, but bang that bell so you know when your boy is live. Let's go. So back to it. Let's go. So the state of the AFC East. We're gonna start. What team you want to start off with?
Oh man, how about we do this? Let's start with the team that I believe you probably believe this as well. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we can agree on this. The second best team in the division.
Oh,
I personally believe it's the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, I like the fact that you went to the Miami Dolphins. You know what? Let's go to the Miami Dolphins. So let's talk about the additions of the Miami Dolphins. First and foremost, the Miami Dolphins, when you look at that roster,
right,
it's a damn good roster. We can't even hate. I mean, I've got a lot of Miami friends. I got one of my very good friends, Kevin. He comes on and he's a big Dolphins fan. And I should have brought his ass up here. He's probably listening right now. You never know. But and I got some content creator friends that are Dolphins fans that do that. I got my man TD that's doing his thing over in Miami. Anyway, they've got a really good roster, right? I'm just gonna run through a few additions that they made. They brought in Chase Edmonds as RB, underrated RB in my opinion. A very good RB in Raheem Mostert. I absolutely love Raheem Mostert. I was actually targeting him as a free agent to come to Buffalo because I think his speed is undeniable. The problem is he's been injured often, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. So Teddy Bridgewater, Cedric Wilson. They brought in Connor Williams, guard. Tyreek Hill. They made a trade for Tyreek Hill. They re-signed Gesicki, right? They re-signed Emmanuel Ogbah. They signed Melvin freaking Ingram. Teron Armstead. Fam, this team is loaded. They came and weren't playing games, and they have a new head coach in McDaniels. So talk about it. I mean, I've talked about I didn't even talk about Wilkins on the defensive front. They got Devin Godchow. They got Phillips on the squad. Fam, this team is solid. So talk to me.
Man.
Man.
You didn't even mention their secondary, which is the best in football. Like that, I think they got the best corner tandem in X-Man, Xavier Howard.
Yep.
And with Byron Jones, two number one corners. And
you know what? I got to give a shout out to Canadian, the safety, in Javon. I forget what's his
name.
Thank you. Solid safety. So listen. Speak on it, man. I'm gonna let you keep going because this squad is Javon Holland. Thank you, and then they got Brandon Jones. So it's a good squad. And if Bills fans want to sit here and hate on the Dolphins, I mean, we all talk our shit because we sweep them every year, and it's lovely to talk about it. But they're not playing games this year. They're trying to steal a game, or maybe two.
They're trying to.
Yeah, Khari, talk to me, man. How are they going to match up against the Bills? And this is the question. How are they going to match up against the Bills, and where is our advantage over these Dolphins?
For sure. I think, just talking about this roster, like I personally think this is a top 10 roster in football. I can't even argue that. Like the names you just rolled off, like all of those guys are ballers. They really are.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is, they've got to see, what their guy under center is going to do. I know we talk about it all the time. Quarterback is king in football and all the sports, but it's a topic you can't just dance around, and I want to go a couple different ways with this because personally, I think I get it. Like the Tua hate it's understandable, I think it's similar to Mitchell Trubisky where, you obviously have Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in his draft class. Tua was in a class with Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, and the Dolphins picked the wrong guy. They did.
They certainly did.
We can all say that
absolutely
with certainty.
Yeah.
But they've made this bed, they have to lay in it. And I think what they've done is great because you put pieces around Tua. He doesn't have to be Josh Allen. He doesn't have to be, Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes. But what he can be is a distributor. We saw him do that at Alabama. We saw, what he did with Ruggs and Judy and Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, obviously, before, So he's shown that he can, produce when he's got guys around him.
Right.
I think, also to the fact that they'll have an offense that's built around the running game. They'll have an offense built around the running game. They're going to have a good defense. All they need Tua to do is play smart, play clean. Matching up against the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
I think the toughest thing with that is, I think the Bills, they've done a great job with it this offseason in terms of improving speed. Clearly, that was, something lacking in the divisional round against Kansas City and playing them in the conference title game in 2020 as well. So, I think the Bills have made it a concerted effort to add more speed. You add James Cook, you add, Jamison Crowder, you add Kyer Elam. So those are things that the Brandon Beane and Coach McDermott and the staff has recognized, and kudos to them for recognizing that.
Yes,
I think the biggest thing in terms of matching up against the Dolphins is just being able to try to limit that speed, but also I think with Josh, like he's shown to have I don't know what it is, man. Even dating back to his rookie year, Josh Allen, all-star, superstar quarterback, one of the best in the game. I think he's the best in the game. Whether it's Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, Herbert, any of those guys, whatever. Personally, I think it's Allen. But when
I was number one quarterback for you
right now, I would say in terms of
even over Pat Mahomes, that Pat Mahomes has his number.
I'll say this: if the roles were switched, if Patrick Mahomes was here in Buffalo and Josh Allen was over in KC, would we be saying that? Oh man, Patrick Mahomes, he's definitely the best quarterback in football. I don't know.
I'll tell you this, Bills fans, Bills fans, stop the cap. Bills fans, whoever's on their squad, they're the best ever, right? I even saw something that told me that I was reading Twitter and I heard Devin Singletary is a top 10 running back. I said, what?
We went down a wormhole with that one.
That's Bills fans for you, fam. Top 10 quarterback, top 10 running back. I said, whoa, I ain't even touching that. I like Devin Singletary. Don't get me wrong. I like him. But no, I'm sorry. Yeah. I can't have that. But
Voter's the man. He's the man.
I'm with you. So when it comes to matching up, I mean, you made some fantastic points. But it really, and like you said, it really starts with Tua. I'm not a Tua defender, but I'm also not going to sit here and say Tua's trash and Tua's this, because when Tua started off, man, there wasn't a whole lot of good things happening with Tua, and he took that mediocre team to 8-2. You hear me? At one point, and he had these guys surging. You feel me? And he was a nice player at Alabama. Right. Had a huge injury with his hip. I don't know if you guys have ever had a freaking hip injury. it ain't cool. I've never had a hip injury, but I've seen some people that have had some bad hip injuries, or you see some people with like, man, my hip, and I can't quite. My man had his hip crushed. You know what I'm saying? So and sometimes it takes time. So maybe he might be fully healthy, and fully healthy Tua with weapons around him could be a dangerous Tua. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Let me back it up a little bit, because they still got to come to Buffalo and go against our dogs. But they gave him protection, because I'll tell you this one thing: if we're gonna keep it real, name me a lineman that was on the freaking Dolphins last year that you could say Tua could trust him and stuff. No, they went and made a concerted effort in bringing in linemen to protect. They brought in Armstead. They brought in Connor Williams, right? They brought in Greg Little. I'm looking at their line right now, right? Eichenberg, they drafted, I think, last year.
Yeah,
so they've got some guys on the squad that's gonna really help this team out. So they're gonna match up much better than they did with us in years past. I think they got a new head coach, a new breath of fresh air. They don't have Flores anymore, and Flores was just a very good coach, but when you have two offensive coordinators, you know what I'm saying, two cooks in the kitchen, it just doesn't. I can't see how you're gonna have success doing that. So one cook in the kitchen, McDaniels is gonna be doing his thing. So they're gonna be a very balanced team. I'm gonna see a lot of run, and you're gonna see a lot of passing, short passing. So we're gonna have to be on our P's and Q's, and you know what I'm saying, respect the speed that's on that. Cedric Wilson can run, Gesicki can play. Like, they have one of the better receiving crews in the league, if you think about it. So we gotta give the Dolphins their props, but at the end of the day, it starts with what you said with Tua. And if we can rattle Tua, all that other stuff means nothing. Now, defensive side of the ball, I mean, bringing Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, it really hasn't really done much for us. When you're playing man to man, your back is going to be to the quarterback. So guess what? If you don't have the discipline, Josh Allen's going to run for 80 on you guys, right? 80 yards that game. So you're going to have more discipline. Maybe you're going to have to play more zone. Maybe this is when we, do our thing. Pick your poison. Josh Allen is just that good. But they got a good defense on the side of the ball. So I gotta give it to them, man. We'll see how the Dolphins shake this out. I think they're better than they were last year. They're going to push us, but I think I think we made just as big a move that they did. You guys, I mean, you heard it. You remember that dude that was catching babies out of the building, and he wanted to throw shade at Aguilar, and I think at one point there was another. It was I'm bringing this up because it was in Philly, and I guess somebody was trying to get robbed, and dude took out his gun. He's like, "Yo, you got a gun? I got a gun too. You want to clap? I'm gonna clap back too." So guess what? You guys made some moves. Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson. Guess what? We made some moves too, bitch. You know what I'm saying? So we got Von Miller. We brought Tim Settle in. We got DeQuan Jones. So y'all can try to run the ball you want, but we're going to stuff that middle. I mean, I didn't even mention Shaq Lawson and the additions that we made. Kyrie Elam on the squad. So Jordan Poirier, Micah Hyde coming back. The squad is loaded. The squad is loaded. So we're going to see how Miami Dolphins fare, but I think they'll play a lot closer to us than in years past. But I think the Bills have the edge, and I just don't think we spanked them the way we spanked them last year. It's going to be a good game, 2 good games, but I think we come out with it. I don't know if you agree with that or not. You think they steal one from us, or do we beat them twice?
I think for Miami's perspective, they have to look at like, hey, we got to split with Buffalo. That's got to be in their mind, because they can't assume that they're going to sweep. They can't do that, but they are talented enough to think, hey, we got to at least get one. So I think it's fair. It really is fair. The Dolphins additions make for, an already loaded AFC in general. Just makes it that much tougher. And I hate to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy.
Be that guy.
When you have two comparable rosters, loaded at just about every position, both rosters, the Bills and the Dolphins, you got to go with the roster that has the better quarterback at the end of the day.
There you go. And let me add to that. You got to go to the roster that's got the better coaching. And when you got veteran coaches in Leslie Frazier,
continuity,
veteran coach in Sean McDermott, I'll take my veteran coaches, over the new head coach that's coming in, right? new to the position, new to the team, new to the city. You know what I'm saying? New to the roster. So I'm gonna take my coach and my quarterback over yours, and that should end the conversation right there. You know what I'm saying? But if anybody's gonna split, you know what I'm saying, the Dolphins have to split if they want any chance of you know what I'm saying, tasting postseason. You got to split with the Bills. You don't split with the Bills, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So you pick the Dolphins. I'm gonna go to the next squad. Okay, and it's my favorite team right now in the AFC East, and that's the New England Patriots.
Ooh.
The New England Patriots, man. I'm looking at their roster, and I'm just not impressed. I'm not impressed. I don't know what the Dolphins. I don't know what the Patriots are doing. It's just, it's troubling. Who is your offensive coordinator? Vacant. We don't know. We're gonna give it to this guy. We're gonna give it to Joe Judge a little bit of Matt Patricia. Like, what is that? You're gonna give it to a guy that went to the Dolphins. They went with Matt Patricia and had some quality coaches, and you went with Matt Patricia that didn't even last 5 years in Detroit. Like, cut it out.
Defensive coach.
My gosh. Like, when you put a defensive coach running the freaking offense, you're gonna run the ball okay? If you played ball, any defensive coach, you know what I'm saying? They predicate themselves. I've played ball for a while too. And if defense is all about stopping the run and running the ball, right?
Yes.
Look at Rex Ryan. Our prime example. Rex Ryan, defensive-minded coach, comes in, and we had one of the best run games in football. 2 years running.
2 years running.
Because it was a focus on the run game. So, Belichick, what are you going to run the ball all day? I'm sorry, man. This is a passing league, and you're going to have guns. And Macaroni Jones is cool and all. You know what I'm saying? I like him. You know what I'm saying? Macaroni and cheese. But you're not going to be able to. I mean, you're a box of Kraft dinner, Macaroni Jones, and you got premium pasta at an Italian restaurant with Josh Allen. You feel me? It's just not the same. It's just not the same. So let me run through what the Patriots have done. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but we're going to talk about it. So obviously Bill Belichick is coming back. He's trying to redeem himself. I don't know how he's going to do it. They got no offensive coordinator. Steve Belichick and Jared Mayo. I'm saying Jared Mayo. Am I saying that right? Because it sounds, Jared Mayo. Gerard, did I say Gerard Mayo? Jared Mayo? The former linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
It's making me remind me of the actor, and I don't want to say the actor because it's just similar. But Jared Mayo, as they're going to be co-defensive coordinators. They got Mac Jones that's going to go into his second year. He had a pretty good rookie year. I'm not going to lie. He had a pretty damn good rookie year. They built their O-line a little better, but they got rid of Shaq Mason. So what are you doing getting rid of your best lineman? You know what I'm saying? You got a two-back system, so don't really have a big back. They brought in Pierre Strong. I like Pierre Strong. He's a good rookie running back out of South Dakota. Defense should still somewhat be solid with Judon coming back. Ronnie Perkins going into his next year. He didn't really do anything last year. Not a whole lot, man. Devontae Parker, they added Devontae Parker from the Dolphins. Big body. He gives Trey White problems because he's a bigger receiver. They drafted Tyquan Thornton, some speed. But other than that, man, Jonnu Smith, Hunter, you know what I'm saying? Hunter Henry. They brought in Jabril Peppers. They got Kyle Duggar. They got Devon Gottschall. Fam, like, are you scared of the Patriots this year?
Oh, man. I'm going to make a hot take.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Because I don't know if you've been on the show, but when hot takes are about to be coming on and you say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, my man.
I'm gonna pull his muffin cap back, Blue.
Let's go.
100%. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really think the Patriots have the worst roster in the AFC East. Not even like I wish I was joking about that, but just looking at the additions the Jets made, I know we haven't gotten to them yet. We'll touch on them in a little bit, but obviously where the Bills are being Super Bowl favorites. You know, Miami, we just discussed all the ballers they have. And, you know, like I said, we'll mention the Jets shortly, but I don't know. This Patriots roster is uninspiring. And the one thing, it's one thing to have, a roster that may not be as talented, because we've seen that in New England. They've done that before. Tom Brady's made chicken, salad out of chicken, what. But at the same time, that was when Josh McDaniels was, OC. That was when, Brian Flores and other names were, on the defensive staff. Now we got former defensive coordinators attempting to, aiming to, aspiring to become offensive coordinators, and we don't even. It's Rico. What day is it? What's today's date?
Today was the 24th of June.
24th of June. Training camp starts in roughly 1 month, correct?
Correct.
And we still don't know who's going to call plays for the New England Patriots.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah. I am speechless. I'm just going to leave it to you on this.
I got you. Listen.
On this roster.
Well, and here he is. We talked about the roster that they're going to be fielding. I'm sure, there's going to be some cuts here and there. I mean, like there always is. They're probably going to revamp the team a little bit, but really, this is where we are. The Patriots are the Patriots, man, and how the mighty have fallen, right? And that's what it comes down to. The Patriots were the cream of the crop franchise, and I'm not saying they're a poo-poo franchise. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're well run. You're a well-run organization. You have freaking Super Bowls after Super Bowls. Y'all got that. But right. It's a what have you done for me lately type of league. Right. And right now the Patriots are not ascending. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be, and I'm with you, they're gonna be last in the AFC East. That's my projection for them. Last in the AFC East, because I really truly believe that the other two teams definitely improved. They definitely improved. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, can your quarterback bail your team out? Is he good enough to bail your team out? Is Mac Jones good enough to bail his team out? If you know what I'm saying, and can you go, you know what I'm saying, firepower for firepower? I'm looking at the offensive side of the ball. Devontae Parker is nice. You know what I'm saying? Nelson Aguilar is okay. Hey, I respect him.
Kendrick Bourne.
Tyquan Thornton, okay, rookie. We're gonna find out. You got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. You're just gonna be the same squad. And if you had an offensive coordinator like, I don't know, let's just say Sean Payton, for instance, at least I can say, whoa, they got someone back there that can kind of create some things. Who you got? Nobody, man. So whatever the Patriots are thinking or whatever they're drawing on the board, wipe that shit down, start all over, because it ain't working. It ain't working. Khari, am I lying, man?
Burn it all down, please.
Burn it all down. I'm just saying. You feel me? So,
oh my goodness.
Then the follow-up question becomes this: how do they match up versus the Bills?
Yeah, they really.
Let's be nice. I'm gonna switch it. Give them. Let's flip it and give them something positive.
Yeah,
where is it that they can have the advantage over the Bills? That's the best way I can try to make it somewhat nice for them.
For sure. I always try to look at it as like how if they were to beat them, how would that go? How would it look?
Right.
I would say the best thing is they still have one of the strongest running games in football. They do. Mm-hmm. You got Damian Harris. People forget, man. Damian Harris had 15 touchdowns last year. Like that's no joke. Yeah, 15 touchdowns.
No way. I gotta look that up. While you keep doing that, I'm looking that up.
Damian Harris had 15 touchdowns, and you still have Ramondre Stevenson, who had a lot of big moments last year, and he's going to only be coming into his own as a second-year back. And Pierre Strong has been getting a lot of headlines throughout mini camp, OTAs, and things like that. So they will be able to rely on those guys. And defensively, they will still.
He had 15 touchdowns last year.
15
Dude. He had 929 yards. He was shy of 1,000 yards with 15 touchdowns.
15 touchdowns.
Fantasy alert.
100%.
Y'all better pick up Damian Harris. Golly.
Yes.
By the way, Billy Williams, put some respect on ketchup chips, because if you have not had Lay's Canadian ketchup chips, you tripping. Because I guarantee you, I get you a bag, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day.
Those ketchup chips are fire.
You had them?
I've had them before as a kid. It's been a long time since I've had them.
Oh, they don't know.
I cannot defend the ketchup popsicle I saw this week. I cannot defend that.
Ketchup popsicle. Nah, see, that's too much.
That's too much. That's what I'm saying.
That's too much. It's kinda, you know what else is too much? It's kind of like I saw something on Twitter. I don't know if excuse me, it was on Instagram. I was scrolling through and some parent was like, I can't get my kids to eat raisins. Excuse me, I can't get my kids to eat grapes and they just don't like it and they love mac and cheese. So what I decided to do was put both of them together. So this woman took a damn casserole, threw cheese, and I don't know how people make their mac and cheese. I don't condone this. They took a block of cheese, they put it right in the middle of the casserole, they put milk in there, they put some shredded cheese, and then this lady threw in freaking grapes in there and threw it in the oven. This is the way I'm gonna get my kids to eat. No, they're gonna say no more mac and cheese ever. I'm done. No grapes, no mac and cheese, Mom. Thanks a lot, Mom.
Soyable. Oh my.
Sorry, I digress. I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest because we talked about food, and I'm a food guy. I love my food. I'm sure you love your food as well. We love to eat, and that mess, I don't condone that mess. Grapes and mac and cheese, and you made a homemade mac and cheese. You post that online, girl. You better stop. Anyway.
Man, I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie also. You know,
yo, I meant to arrest her. Yo, arrest her and throw her under the jail. Facts. Throw that woman under the jail. Listen. Shame on you. Shame on you.
It's like her channel. It's like the beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes video. It's like she threw everything into the pot at that point.
Like Karen, stay home. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that, Karen. All right, so my bad. I digress. But anyway,
I love it.
You pretty much what you're saying is their strength is going to be their run game.
100%. And defensively, they'll still be a solid defensive group. You know, when you still have, I mean, arguably the greatest defensive coach of all time is still on that side. Is still running that franchise. We're in such a weird point though with the Patriots. Like, you know, I do understand that, you know, Bill is still there. You know, he's got some of his guys back around. You know, Christian Barmore, I think, is a good player on the defensive line. You mentioned Judon.
Yeah, Christian Barmore. Ooh, good call about that up. I love Christian Barmore's game.
Baller. He's a baller, to say the least. So they've got some pieces defensively, but you know, you lose J.C. Jackson. You know, they've got I don't know this.
They brought back Devin McCourty and
McCourty. They brought back Malcolm Butler.
Yeah, see,
it's not 2018. It's not 2018.
Thank you very much. It's not 2018. Why are we going back in time? I pulled up their roster, right? So I'm looking at it. Yeah. They got Tyquan Thornton, Nelson Aguilar. They brought back Matthew Slater. They got Devontae Parker. They got Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne was a decent player for them last year.
Right.
They got both tight ends. Right, they got Jacoby Myers. I don't even think he got a touchdown last year. They kept that man out of the end zone. Shame on that. You know what I'm saying? And really, I mean, Trent Brown. And this is the thing. This is the notes that I took for these guys. Right. Mm-hmm. So they got Trent Brown and Isaiah Wynn. Here's the crazy part, which I don't get. So Trent Brown naturally is a left tackle, and I believe he's a left tackle. And they're now switching him and Isaiah Wynn. Isaiah Wynn is now going to go left tackle, and Trent Brown's going to go right tackle. Okay. Why? You're switching over someone that naturally plays a position. You're just going to switch it up just like that. And they asked him, "Yo, how do you feel about that?" He's like, "Listen, man, football's football. I mean, if you're right-handed and they ask you to start writing with your left, you're not going to be good at it at first, but if you take some practice, you're going to get better." His response to me, I'm reading between the line. What the fuck are y'all doing with me, man? You know what I'm saying? I'm right-handed. Stop making me right like I'm sloppy, and you're gonna make me go out there and go up against Von Miller, you know what I'm saying, and Greg Rousseau and Phillips from the Dolphins, and I didn't even get into come on, man. Like, gee, like I don't know what's going on with these guys, but it's like Bill Belichick is purposely doing that to Robert Kraft. He's like, you screwed me. I wanted Jimmy Garoppolo. You made me hold on to Tom Brady, and this is what you're gonna give me. Fine. I don't know what's going on over there, but we're trying to be nice. We're trying to be nice for the Patriots. So for me, if I'm going to be nice to the Patriots, I'm looking at their defensive side of the ball. And one thing that they do well is, I mean, not well, they didn't do well last year, is defending the run. They do pretty decent in defending the run with Matt Judon and stuff. But last year they ranked 22nd in rush yards against, and they ranked 25th in yards per carry. So there is an ability for us to gash and run all over them. but I'm sure they're going to shore that up with Devin Godchow and Christian Barmore. Now, I asked, how are they going to win against us, or how are they going to do something? They're going to need the same type of weather conditions they had last year. If you want to beat the Bills, you better pray for wind, sleet, hail, snow, rain, hurricane, tornado. You better ask for all of that. That's the only way I think you're gonna steal a game in Buffalo. It's not gonna happen. What happened in the playoffs is probably what's gonna happen 2 games in the regular season. I'm sorry, Patriots. This is gonna be the year that you do not make the playoffs. Yeah. You're done. You're done. That's the way I look at it. I was trying to be nice, but I mean, at the end of the day, I can't. It's just what it is, man. And if you're a Patriots fan watching this, I feel for you guys. I really do. You need a couple more years. You have a quarterback. I got to give it to Mac Jones. Mac Jones looks like he is the part. Right. You just got to build around him. And that's just what it's going to come down to. So that's the Patriots. What do you project the Patriots? How many games you project they win?
See, this is the thing. Like, I don't think they're not going to be bad. This is the problem. When you've been spoiled with the greatest modern franchise or the greatest modern dynasty of sports, and I mean, that's you can count the Spurs, you can count the Warriors now, you can count the Boston Red Sox.
I'm not counting the Warriors as a damn dynasty. F that. But go on, proceed, sir. That's look at your face.
That's the Toronto Raptors fan coming out right there.
I'm a Laker guy. So we gonna talk about that another time. But go ahead.
No doubt.
No, you're right, though.
But just think about, 6 championships from 2001 to 2018. Like,
it's insane.
It's insane. And they missed the playoffs one time in that span. It was the year Brady got hurt, and they still won 11 games with Matt Castle. So, like, they obviously, the Patriots fans have been spoiled rotten. The problem with this year's team is, like, they've got a lot of good. They've got a lot of, I love, actually, Kyle Duggar. He's a name I forgot to mention. He's going to be a superstar.
He didn't have a great year last year, but he can play.
Yeah, he could play. I think, Jalen Mills, Super Bowl champion. Jonathan Jones, really good player as well. Dietrich Wise, and, all these names. We mentioned Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Like, all these names, solid, a lot of good. I think the Patriots will be a 9-8. I think they could, at the very most, win 10 games. But I think they will win.
That's high. That's high, man.
It is high, but this is the thing. When you have a coach with the pedigree of Bill Belichick, his team is never going to be. I mean, think about it. The year that that Cam Newton was the full season that Cam Newton was there in 2020. That was about as bad as it could have gotten, and they still won 7 games. As bare as that roster was, all the opt-outs they had, right?
That's fair. Fair. But you can't tell me that they're going to be last in the division and give them 8, 9, 10 wins. It's just not going to happen.
See, this is the problem. I do think that they are the least talented roster, but I'm not sure if the 4th team we're going to talk about is ready in terms of being able to supplant them yet. So that's where, like what I was saying about it being a hot take. I do think I do think they have the least talented roster, but I mean they still have Bill.
And you can't deny Bill. Bill is a genius. He's a genius. Answer this question for me. I think Tyrone Hall comes in and says, I think you're wrong, Rico. Bill Belichick has a quarterback, and that's a dangerous thing for this division. He has a quarterback, yes, but that quarterback is not Tom Brady. He's not. If you were to tell me he's got a quarterback and it's Tom Brady, so be careful, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Now, if you were to go and bring me over to, I'm trying to think of a team that has a very good quarterback, but the rest of the offense is just not sure, but they have a quarterback. Who would you give me?
Probably, I mean, you could argue like a Green Bay where they don't have a ton of weapons out wide.
Hold on. We'll go Jaguars.
Okay.
Right? Jaguars. They have a quarterback. We know Sunshine can play. But we don't know about the roster. But at least you can say, I think I got something in Trevor Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? Big time quarterback, and I'm putting pieces around him so I can kind of trust that. I don't know if I can say that about, that team, the Patriots. I don't know. I just don't know. And especially in the division that they're in,
Yes.
Yeah, it's too tough for me. It's too tough for me.
They might have the second best quarterback in the division, like right now as we speak, but I don't think he's so much further ahead of the other quarterbacks that he elevates his team so much further ahead of those teams. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
I like that. My man, your boy Letter says, "Yo, Rico, did I miss any re-signings with the Pats?" They signed this. I mean, really, I don't know who they re-signed, like big re-signings.
I think he's asking if Cam re-signed.
Oh, Cam, excuse me, did I miss any? I thought, why did I read that? Cam did not re-sign with the Pats. I highly listen. Cam said that he regrets going to the Patriots. It just was too quick, too fast. It just was the fit wasn't there. And I agree with him. When he went to the Patriots, I was like, I hate the Patriots for him. Yeah. I would have went somewhere else, but not the Patriots. Just it wasn't it. And Cam was okay the first few. Once that COVID hit him,
different play.
After that wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? And then they really and truly they wanted Mac Jones to be the guy, but they needed a formidable quarterback enough that they can say, okay, Mac, you're going to be competing against Cam. Cam is, you know what I'm saying? Some say he could be a future Hall of Famer. I don't think so personally. But it's a thought. It's a thought. First ballot, definitely not, but it's a thought. But anyway, long story short, it's Mac Jones was the guy from the start. That was a bad move by Cam. You go into the Patriots, nah, it's not for you, man. It's like a flashy, flamboyant player going to Utah Jazz. It ain't for you, fam. It's not for you. It's like a flashy player going to play for Popovich in San Antonio. No.
You know what's funny? I was literally gonna say it would have been like if Tim Duncan went to the Lakers.
Yeah, it's just you know what I mean? Tim Duncan's great. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he would have had success, but it just would have been a weird fit.
Yeah.
You feel me? But yeah, so we're gonna move on. We're going last team we're gonna talk about. And that is the good old New Jersey Jets.
Jets.
So we're going to New Jersey Jets. I'm gonna let you start off with New Jersey.
Okay.
How you want to start it off? You talk.
So, you know, again, like I said,
and while you're talking, I'm gonna pull up their roster and then we'll go into it.
I just made a hot take about the Patriots roster being worse in the division. So I obviously feel as though that the Jets roster is, you know, more talented, because when you think about some of these names, when you consider the fact that, you know, now that they obviously just drafted Garrett Wilson, you know, when you think about Elijah Moore, you've got Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios is a solid slot receiver.
Very good. Yep.
You talk about the return of Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker from SC, you know, had a great rookie year. Absolutely. You know, Laken Tomlinson coming over from San Fran. I mean, even Max Mitchell, you know, fourth round pick. But
don't forget George Fed too, right?
Exactly. You know, so more depth there. Some young guys to build around. The tight end room. I'm not gonna say it's the best in football, but this tight end room is deep as hell. You got CJ tight end room? So you got CJ Uzomah coming over from the Bengals. So, you know, coming off a Super Bowl run, had a breakout 2021 campaign.
Absolutely.
They draft Jeremy Ruckert from Ohio State. I'm a big Ohio State fan, so you know,
Rucker's legit.
Numbers aren't huge, but brings a lot of value as a do-it-all. Can block, good receiver, solid athlete, just does a little bit of everything. But then I think one of the most underrated signings in all of football this past offseason was Tyler Conklin, the tight end from Minnesota. Very underrated, very, very, very underrated. I'm going to read you off his stats from 2021, because he was a guy that, you know, he was playing in Minnesota. Obviously, Minnesota wasn't, you know, you know, they weren't claiming a lot of headlines or anything like that in 2021. But, you know, mind you, this is him playing in an offense that, you know, has Justin Jefferson, has Adam Thielen, running the rock with Dalvin Cook. Even Madison is a, you know, good back himself. You know, he finished with 61 receptions for 593 yards, 3 touchdowns. So that's not a huge number, but I mean, really solid security blanket for Kirk Cousins last year. So who's to say you can't do the same for Zach Wilson? But
for sure,
just looking at the defense now too, and we know Salah's a great defensive mind.
Yep.
He's got some dogs now that he can really help groom. I'm not gonna say dogs. He's got some pups now. He's got some young guys.
He's got some young pups.
Exactly. He's got some young guys that I think are really just he's gonna be able to groom. Obviously Quinnen Williams has been there for a couple of years now, so he's really emerging into one of the more dominant, not dominant, but one of the stronger defensive tackles in football.
Yeah.
Carl Lawson's returning now.
Yes, he is.
All of last season, so
that's huge, man.
Huge deal there. I mentioned him earlier, Jermaine Johnson. The first rounder from Florida State. I'm not gonna lie, Rico. I'm scared about Jermaine Johnson.
Jermaine Johnson in that senior bowl, when I was watching the Jermaine Johnson show, I was like, yo, who is this guy? And the fact that the Jets went up back in to grab him, I was like, okay, the Jets ain't playing games. And then the second round, they went back up to grab my guy, Brees Hall.
Right.
I said, okay, these motherfuckers, I mean, I don't want to cuss today, but these dudes, they're not playing no games this year. I was like, shoot. Okay, Jets, I see you, Jets. So I'm with you. Everything you're saying right now, I'm with you, man.
And I'm glad you mentioned Brees Hall. I just completely missed the boat on that. Like, Brees Hall, you paired Brees Hall up with Michael Carter. Like,
Dude. And a solid O-line altogether. Right. And here's the thing, and I'm going to jump in. The Jets remind me of just a lesser version of the Dolphins, because at the end of the day, what's gonna happen is, what's Zach Wilson about?
Yeah.
What's he about? What are you doing? He's talented. He's got arm talent. That's for damn sure.
For sure.
And he's got the weapons around him. I mean, look, if you look at his receiving room, you got Elijah Moore, you've got Denzel Mims, you've got Corey Davis, they got Garrett Wilson they just brought in, Braxton Berrios. I mean, we talked about that. That's a good team, man. They're loaded. They're loading up on that squad. And we got to talk about it, man, because we can't just say, oh, it's the Jets and they're there. Yes, they haven't won in forever. They've got the worst record. You know what's funny? The Jets and the Giants, the last, I think, 5 years or the last 10 years, they're the two bottom teams.
Yes.
Two bottom teams.
Yes.
In the league in terms of wins and losses. So history is not looking good for them right now, at least recent history. Mm-hmm. So they know better. They knew what they had to do. And the GM did a hell of a job in putting things together for the squad. Yeah. Robert Saleh is a good defensive mind. They brought in offensive coordinator Matt LaFleur is going to be taking over. So, this Jets team, I'm not sleeping on the Jets.
In
no way. No way am I sleeping on the Jets.
We can't. They got, Sauce Gardner. We didn't even talk about
him.
Dude,
we didn't even get into Sauce Gardner.
Didn't even get into Sauce Gardner. Didn't even get Joyner. I mean, they got some talent. And I love the point you made about they're just a lesser version of the Dolphins. I think they really are, like, in terms of the way they're going to play. They're going to be defensive mind. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to get the ball out of Wilson's hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the team is like, it's a younger, up and coming version of what the Dolphins are now, because the Dolphins are more ready to win today. But the scariest thing about all of that is, like you said, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is a more physically gifted quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. 100%. Tua, I know we're going back a little bit with this. I'm so glad you brought up the thing about Tua's hip, because people act like him returning and even playing football, on any level is, oh man, this guy sucks. Like, dude literally couldn't walk in the fall of 2019 after he broke his hip. Like, let's
forget about that. They forget about that, man. Like, put your fandom aside.
Yes.
And this is I don't like homers. I'm not a big fan of homers. And you've got to put your love for your team aside and just look at it for real and just say, okay, let me just unbiased and look at it for what it is. And you're right. Like, if he's fully healed and he's not even thinking about that hip anymore, because the mind will play tricks on you. You think your doctor tells you you're good, but you're in your mind, you knew the pain you went through when you got your hips crushed. Yes. And I ain't trying to have that no more. So the way that guy tackled me in the angle, when I'm running in this is exactly how it happened. I'm thinking about it. So if he's in the mind of not thinking of the way he got hit and crushed, it's a different ball game. I didn't want to go back on Tua, but
Yeah.
it makes all the difference. So with Wilson is a physically gifted, like you said, and if he gets more comfortable going into the second year, sophomore year, and he's got the weapons around him, because that's exactly what we did for Josh Allen. Josh Allen's rookie year, we had Robert Foster as his number one freaking receiver. We had Biscuit Benjamin as another receiver for him. We had Zay Jones.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not poo-pooing on Zay Jones, but Zay Jones wasn't great for us.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
We got the man in the second round for crying out loud. Do something, right?
That's the thing,
I mean, we had freaking nobody around him, man, like to really help him. So what do? We bring in Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie got the ball rolling. The following year, John Brown, Cole Beasley, right? We started bringing quick guys that can get separation, and then we put weapons around Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is ascended. Now, everyone thinks they could duplicate what we've done for Josh Allen. Just put weapons around the guy, and they'll do great. Well, you don't have a Josh Allen. You feel me? So, Zach Wilson, what is he going to do with the weapons that they put around him? So, we're about to find out. This AFC East, man, they used to say it was one of the worst divisions because Tom Brady just ran that thing. But now, it's a different ball game now. It's a different ball game. So these Jets are going to be fun to watch. I mean, you mentioned Carl Lawson, Quinnen Williams is still there. You got Jermaine Johnson. You got Hamza Nasruddin from the Florida State from a year before. C.J. Mosley. We didn't even talk about C.J. Mosley. So, fam, this is going to be something, man. And they brought in who was it? They brought in Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah,
a solid player from Tampa. So, dude, this is gonna be fun, man. This year is gonna be fun. So we gotta be on. Listen, we gotta one. I know it's cliche, and Coach always says it, guys. We want to take one game at a time. It literally is gonna be one game at a time.
Yeah,
we can't look ahead of anybody on this roster. We can't look anybody in this league. It's one game at a time. So we're gonna see, man. But I ain't sleeping on these Jets, man. These Jets, I'm not sleeping on the Dolphins. The Patriots are the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Bill Belichick is always going to give them a chance.
Yeah.
But like I'm with you though. I think they're going to be last in the division. They'll be last in the division, and that's just what it's going to be, man. Yeah. So shoot, man. That's the AFC East, man. I still think we win this division. Do we sweep the division? That's the question. What are your thoughts?
Sweeping the division, that's got to be the goal for the Bills. I think if there's any team that can even think like that, it is the Bills, because they have that talent. They've got the see, this is what is like probably the scariest thing, and like why there's such a national groundswell for the Bills. You know, when you've got the type of talent that Josh Allen is at quarterback, when you've got the continuity in the coaching staff, even with guys like Daboll leaving, that's fine. You promote Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
You know, you the fact that, you know, Josh's rookie deal hasn't necessarily, or his new deal hasn't necessarily kicked in yet either. So you still got extra money to play with. You can bring in Von Miller, you can bring in Jameson Crowder, all these names. It makes sense why there's such a national following now for the Bills. But they're the only team in the division that can even think that way. I do think that I will say I do think Miami will get one. They're a talented team.
Yeah.
They're a talented team. They really are. And the toughest thing is this, like the Bills, as talented, this, I mean, I think, I don't even know, it's probably not even, I mean, it could be considered a hot take, but this is a soft take, I'll say.
Soft take? All right. Just lob it up there.
The Bills, this Bills roster could be arguably the most talented that the team has had in history, but it may not even reflect in record because the AFC is probably as deep as we've ever seen it. So
yes, you're right about that.
I mean,
yep, that's a fair take. This AFC is deep. I mean, Jim Graham was like, "Yo, Rico, stop with the BS, man. The East is ours."
Nobody's saying that.
The East can still be ours. We may not sweep if we're being real. Like every team is gunning for you. It's a different ball game when you're on the top and trying to stay on top.
Yeah,
because everybody's trying to knock you down off your peg. So we may have to, you know what I'm saying, give up a game. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's just one. I hope it's none, obviously. But we may have a game that we give up, maybe two. Shoot, I ain't trying to give up three. I'm not trying to go 3-3 in that division. That's for damn
No,
sure. Because this
definitely.
AFC is too damn tough. So we've got to take care of our division. So that's the main thing that we got to focus on. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a tough one, man. So we talk about all the time getting predictions for the game. I ain't trying to get into predictions. We talk about all the time. I just want to win this division and go to the freaking Super Bowl, and that's it. And I want to get your take on this before we get out of here because we talk about it. I mean, I've been mentioning it the last couple of weeks, and we're talking about it's a lose-lose situation for Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah,
and by that I mean it's a lose-lose situation because let's just say we have such a great year, right? It's a win, right? But then when we go to the Super Bowl, here's where the loss comes in. They're gonna start, Radio Row. That's gonna be all about back in the 90s, we lost 4 years in a row, and how are you guys gonna this and how are you guys gonna that, right? So we go to the Super Bowl. That's number one. That's where we're talking about this again. And if we lose in the Super Bowl, then we're talking about 5 times in the Super Bowl you guys lost. You guys are 0-5. You know how they ripped LeBron for not being like Jordan, going 6-0 in the finals, and they ripped LeBron. They're gonna rip the Bills if we are fortunate enough to go to the Super Bowl and then we lose. It's not good enough to just go there and say, "Whoa, we made it to the Super Bowl," like the Bengals last year. At least we made it to the Super Bowl. Nobody expected it, right? They can pull that. We can't. We're expected to go to the Super Bowl. Right. We're expected to go 17-0 if you want to watch what Vegas is doing. So a lot of pressure on the Bills, man. There's a lot of pressure on the Bills. But you know what I'm saying? Let's put some positive vibes in this bitch. Yes. Hopefully we can, exactly. Stomp out all the hoopla. And if we can put that aside and go in and get that one, that can just erase all the nonsense and we can start building. We can start building and going from there, man. That's it. That's all I wanted to jump in, man. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this was a fantastic show. I'm glad my man Khari sat in here with me for an hour and a half. I don't think you expected to be on this long, but hey, we did it, and it doesn't even feel that way. It really doesn't, for real. So let the people know what pieces you have coming forward, what you're going to be doing in this long off season, and let them know where they can catch you and what articles are coming up.
Yeah, first and foremost, so if you guys see on the screen, that's my @name, @Riri_Demos. Twitter, Instagram as well. You can find me on Facebook as well, Khari Demos. I honestly, this off season time, it's very intriguing because got a lot of different things. To be honest, I can't even speak on some of the things because there are some things that are going to be announced, hopefully in the next couple of weeks that I'm still figuring out. But a couple different places that I'm interviewing with, and some places that I'm involved with now that I may be expanding my role with. But all I know is that I will definitely be putting out some more pieces about the team. I've been doing a reading the rooms little section. I want to add into the one thing I'm going to be working on next is about the receiving core. I would be the best in the league. So, but yeah, I appreciate you, Rico, and man, the content that Rico puts out. You guys are here for a reason, obviously. So it's just been an honor and a privilege to be on with you. And,
listen, man,
I'm excited, man.
We got way more down the pipeline, my guy. So stay tuned. It's always what it is, man. It's the off season, folks. You guys know what it is. So just a reminder, folks. So I'm going on vacay next week, so I won't be on until the middle of July. So my man Rev is going to be holding it down. My man Z-Boss going to be holding it down. And I'm going to make sure that they encourage to jump in and get these writers on, like my man Khari. And we're going to try to make it happen for y'all, man. So appreciate all the love and support that you guys have been giving the Buffalo Fanatics. Is love, man. Go out and check out the website. Listen, it's very simple, man. SupportBF.com, www.supportbf.com. Everything is there for your liking, for your entertainment, and we go from there. Before you get out of here, smash that like. If you guys enjoyed the show, throw them mics up like my man Namdi. I see you, Namdi throwing up the mics up. So your boy's gonna be traveling, man. I'm gonna be going back to Ontario to see fam. I haven't seen my grandmother in a long time. It's been a minute. That's my old lady, man. So I gotta show off the little man. I just got a little man not too long ago. So you guys already know my story. So that's what it is, man. So keep supporting BF. It's the off season, man. It's gonna be tough. So while I'm over there in Ontario, I'm going to try to jump on with my mobile and try to jump on the shows with the fellas. So we're still going to try to give you some good content, man. So I appreciate you, Khari, for coming through. Look out for reading the rooms with my man, Khari. He's going to be doing the receiver room next. I'm looking forward to it. And that's it for us, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys already know my spiel, man. Be good to one another. It doesn't take much. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of nonsense going on in this world, man. So be positive, man. Show some love to everybody. And at all times, man, go Bills. So until next time, it's me and my man Khari. It's the Buffalo Fanatics at the Rico Report. And we are gone. You guys have yourself a fantastic evening. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Cool.